Go with this one. Hello. I guess my RTX voice is not working right now, but hey guys. Hopefully you can hear me now. I also need to go up on Streamlabs so I can at least see the audio level. I'm going to probably less definite a little bit because I don't have a guest tonight. Hey guys, Spamwaits here. Welcome to Truck and Talk Thursdays, the stream where I talk about things as I drive, basically my podcast in such a way. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, night, whatever the heck you are. I know I'm not ending, I just like saying that every time. I actually do. It's a really good line. For whatever reason. I have perfected. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably drive across back to California. Because I think I did talk about it last week, kind of, where I didn't really visit all of Washington. So I still need to do that. So I'm going to take probably a regular load unless there's a fun gifts load I could take as well. I don't want to crash this time around because that would be pretty bad. You know, we just drive some cheese. But again, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are having a great day. Try to get myself with driving, get used to kind of like the new thing here. I hope you notice it's kind of brighter, even though I think my camera is now freaking out with green. I actually got a ring light to lighten up the place. Here, I'll tell you the difference. You can see the difference. This is when it's off. See how dark it is? It's when it's on. You can see a lot of things. You can even see my wall. Kind of looks like it's daytime. So got a ring light. I found it at a store for like what do you guess? Found it in a store for like what, $20 I think. So it was a pretty good deal. So I guess I could grab gas and then do all that stuff. But yeah, everything looks so much brighter. I kind of look more professional. The mic is second there. I have my camera all set up, and as I should probably concentrate on my driving rather than looking at other things. But it's starting to look a lot better now. I'm starting to get used to it, even though I keep doing that and the lights keep like flickering. So it looks like it's going from cool to warm, cool to warm. I hope there was no cars. That would be awkward if there was. I don't really need the lights, so. But yeah, I'm actually really liking all the things I've gotten so far in terms of just trying to make the stream better and just really liking technology in general. And I kind of want to focus on that today because I kind of want to talk about what I'm doing with YouTube right now. I thought I'd be willing to share this during a day, probably, because I think by the time this goes up on YouTube on Tuesdays, go follow me on youtube.com/manwaits or do the YouTube command. Where's the load? All the way in the back. That is not the way to go. Haha, nice. But we're planning to upload on YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be uploaded by the time that video comes out, but I've been trying my very best to change gears. There we go. Been trying my very best to use Samsung products. And I talked to this with Dragon and a couple other people as well. Trying to as I'm still unemployed, as I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go for. Obviously, I still want to find a job just to hone my experience, but also I want to try to be a little more creative. Back in 2018, I know I kind of tried to be creative with the live streaming and such, and I've just been recording like that. But I've been doing mostly Let's Plays. I've actually been doing Let's Plays for like what? 6-7 years, I think? Because when I started my YouTube channel, I actually did like skits and such with my cousins. And then eventually it devolved to getting into technology. I actually did quite a bit of a little bit of app reviews, technology reviews, and whatnot. I think some of them are public, some of them are unlisted because That was like 16 to 18-year-old me doing that. So, they were kind of cringy, don't get me wrong. And I know I'm like in my mid-20s now because it's been like already 10 years since I've done those videos. Before I do that, let me just check audio levels real quick. I want to be sure that everything is sounding perfectly. I think it is. I'm using my mic, my actual mic, so I'm gonna pop this thing here real quick just as a test. And if anyone has joined in or want to say something, feel free to type. If you're watching from the VOD, feel free to follow along and type some comments along the way, I guess. It's a weird way to say it. Let me just tune into my own stream real quick. I just want to hear it out here. I'm going to be sure that everything's going fine. I'm hoping it's loud enough, actually. I'm going to amplify the mic because, knowing anything, I probably don't have the mic as loud as one would think. So let me just do a little peruse here real quick. I mean, there's some things with technology. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. some of the times it's like this, so I'm gonna yank myself up to like about this. Maybe a little bit loud. I might be clipping, but I feel like that's gonna be a little bit better than what you're hearing now. So I can at least explain what I'm doing. And then, you know what? I'm gonna maybe lower it a little bit more. I don't think you're gonna need to hear the game that much, so okay. That should be good. Ooh, turn. Baby, turn. But yeah. I always I actually have two mice here. I have one mice right here that's wireless, and I have one wire that's full. But I feel like this one's a little bit easier to go through the map. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I've done technology stuff. I've done technology videos and whatnot. Let me just try to get closer as best as I can. Cover that so I don't have to hear too much. I guess I could also lower my volume. It's lower, right? Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Because I'm also running on speaker mode. Ooh, I clipped that. I highly hit that bumper hard. Yeah, I've done technology videos. Ooh, really hitting the curbs here. Okay. Until about 2012, and I think that's when I really started doing Let's Plays. I've done Minecraft, I've done a couple other games as well, and eventually get into live streams, also doing Truck Simulator as well as I guess Truck and Talk and a bunch of other things. But I've never really dived into technology itself as much, unlike back in high school. And I still have a love for technology. I still like using tech. But I told myself kind of last week, I was like, I kind of want to do something more of that. Kind of want to do more of that, actually. Just messing with technology, maybe creating a video, but nothing of the standard, oh, here's a review of a device. Here's here's a device, here's a review of my phone and whatnot. Here's a review of my tablet or whatnot. I'm gonna go. Okay, what you say? But I've always wanted to do videos like that, or not videos like that. I wanted to actually become a little bit more out of the box, and I've been watching I've been watching tech videos ever since almost the inception of YouTube. No, not really. Ever since 2010. Oh, what's the speed limit here? I don't even know what the speed limit is here. 35. Oops. But yeah, no, I've kind of wanted to keep doing more of that, because as much as I like doing Let's Plays, they're really easy to do. Let me just say that. I'm starting, ever since coming from a job or something like that, I feel more adventurous. if that's a weird thing to say. Oh god. But I think prior to me getting a job, when I took the whole year and a half hiatus, I remember I just want to just do let's plays and streams and just keep doing whatever. And you just hope that I'll finally find a job. But this time around, I'm like, you know what? F it. Let me just attempt to do something more. Let me at least try to like put. That's not where the gas station is. Let me just like put some thought and production in a video, and do something that is just more than let's play or live stream. Because again, it's pretty easy to do. Sure, it can be a cash grab for a lot of people. It can be tough to even get anything from it. I think this is my turn. There it is. Like, how can I not find that? How did I not find this? There we go. Like, sure, it can be a cash grab for most, but it can also be very tough to just even try. I know that eventually you just want to keep putting like more and more production, and sure, even doing too much can like burn you. Like, there's consequences to doing too much, burning you out, spending too much, more than you need, and whatnot. But with all the things I have now, I kind of want to try. I want to get back into editing as well. I wanted to really kind of like really make more videos. Again, something that's just outside of just a let's play, really. So I kind of just took on this experience of see if I can do those videos again. See if I could try to make like I guess not even more than a let's play or a live stream, but even kind of more than a vlog. Even though I think of what I have so far, it is kind of a vlog at the moment. But at least with like production value, you know, like record extra video to do B-roll, to do actions that I may not do normally. I guess you're going that way. Let me just go for it. Okay. Nice. And just do things like that just to see if I could still do it. And it's not more of like I wanna try to make money out of it, because obviously it's now a little bit stricter to make more money out of YouTube and kind of out of streaming as well. I mean, sure, you can get affiliate kind of easy on Twitch nowadays, but you still need to develop that audience. But YouTube, I know that's kind of a different story, but it's like you just post things and you just want to see if you can get anyone to watch, which I find that a little bit easier. Where am I going with this? But I just want to like just to see if I can be as creative and derpy and stupid as back when I was 10 years ago. However, put like a more mature twist, because there's some things that I do cringe on it. So I want to be sure that everything. I'm really not be sure. I just want to try. Try to just really try it out, see if I like it. If I get burned out way too easily, then oh well. Maybe I'll stop a bit, but I'm gonna try this time around. So, with the premise for the Samsung video, I guess I can now dive into it. What I'm planning to do is what I am doing, or attempt at doing. I can find my words, I promise you guys. Is I try to use my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, my Samsung Galaxy Tab S6, and my Samsung Galaxy Watch 2, Active 2. I want to at least get to it, like, knowing the terms and knowing everything. But try to use it for a week. Spoiler alert, it's not going that well. It's gone well for 2 days. The third day, I started cheating. Today, kind of cheating. The exceptions to the rules is I'm supposed to just use those 3 products for the whole week. There are some exceptions though. Obviously, me streaming or wanting a game, I can use my computer at that point. Like, I still got stuff to do, especially doing this. So and then I started diving down of just like focusing, maybe just only during the daytime, because that's when I usually become like semi-productive. Usually at night I just want to relax, but if I'm like browsing the internet, let's say applying for jobs, watching YouTube, like that, everything will be using the Samsung products, Galaxy products. It kind of went well the first day. I will say that it kind of went well the first day. Um, Getting just into the technology and like really trying to figure out how to use other technology to make using Samsung technology better without primarily using like if I'm primarily using the device for like again using the internet or recording a video or anything, it's just purely Samsung. But just and then any accessories like keyboard, a mouse, or anything like any of the sort like that, I can still use because it doesn't inhibit the use of the Samsung device. I guess I hope that makes sense. Um, but I realize how hard it is in some ways to do that because while I thought I have kind of everything I need to do it to see if I can at least survive for a week, I kind of don't. Um, I've noticed there's like a couple quirks along the way. I don't want to share too much because I don't know. I may have ideas later down the week to see if I can remedy it without buying anything, of course. I don't want to spend any more money on that because the Note 20 Ultra is real expensive. The tab I bought a year ago and the watch was also kind of out there. I don't want to spend any more. But I may have ideas of like how to make it a little bit better without spending too much. But I'll say this now: it's not going well as of Thursday. I'm hoping whatever I recorded on Monday, Tuesday, it's kind of explains everything, but like the ideas and the things I wanted to do, the things I tried to do. But yeah, starting like today, I'd say kind of yesterday as well, but today it was really apparent that there's some things missing without spending too much money. There's some things missing that I can't do easily, unlike with the devices I have used before. That makes sense. Because I've have other devices. I guess I could explain one particular scenario that I've encountered. It's whenever I'm lounging in bed, which is right behind me. I tried using my Galaxy tablet to connect via HDMI to my monitor by USB-C. It works. However, if you're in bed, you don't want to bring that tablet. You just kind of want to keep it like away from her. So like, where I'm sitting, right behind me, like 2 feet behind me is my bed. 4 feet ahead is my monitor. So the tablet is closer to the monitor than the bed. Trying to navigate through anything, like even watching a video on YouTube, it's kind of tough. It's especially tough when using a mouse. You think it's kind of easy, but it's not. You end up like for me, I have bad eyes. For me, I end up squinting a lot, or I just end up saying, "F it, let's just have the video run on auto, and then hope that it plays some decent video." Really. Can I go a different route? I want to go this way. That looks like fun. Why do you let me go that way? Fun. So just doing that, it started kind of irritated. It started to irritate me a little bit. So what I ended up doing was I pulled down my Google TV, or Google Chromecast with Google TV, and then just used that to just watch videos because I didn't want to irritate myself too much to do that. And it kind of worked out in the end. I'm hoping I remember to record that. I think I did. I think I said something about it in my recording. But that's like one hurdle that I'm experiencing. The other hurdle is obviously gaming. I wish there was like a Galaxy device where you can game easily, like on a Windows environment. In an Android environment, you can only do so much. I mean, it'd be great if I had a keyboard and mouse. If they can use keyboard and mouse on, say, like a Galaxy Tab or my phone to play some games. Primarily Genshin Impact. But it would be nice to like have that kind of support, so then I don't have to use my computer unless if I'm streaming, like right now. But it would also be cool to actually have some sort of Galaxy device that can maybe play a couple of my Steam games, like American Truck Simulator or other things. I know I'm not planning to like resort to like the stream gaming services. That's kind of cheating. Um, and I kind of wanted to like really like hone down specifically focus on Samsung environment. Um, I guess with the TV one, watching YouTube and like that, like or streaming any online content that is not all the gaming part. Realizing my words there, but um, doing that. Um, where was I going with this? Oh, like streaming YouTube and anything, I could have probably got like a Samsung TV and like that. But again, I don't want to spend money. That's that still requires to spend money, and I don't want to do that. But I felt like that would be a lot easier because then I would have a remote. There would be an operating system I'll be using on Samsung's side to just go to YouTube and watch videos. Easy peasy solved, right? I mean, unless if Samsung was willing to give me some money for some videos. Where am I going? I have not gone down this way in real life. It's still weird that this is like. I guess I'm not going that way. Where am I going? Hello? They really just want to take the other ramp? Oh, yes. I don't know what difference this makes, but okay. Dang it. Really? Oh. Thought it was an accident. Well, it was an accident, but yeah, I was gonna say, if Samsung's willing to sponsor me to get a TV, or if you have a device that can do gaming, natively, ideally, I might try. Actually, now that I think about it, I may try a streaming service. Let's say like the GeForce Experience streaming thingy or Steam Link or anything like that. But that still requires me to plug in my computer and turn on my computer, and then that kind of defeats the purpose of using Samsung. You see, kind of that's what that was my mentality of like, I don't want to use my computer to do through my Galaxy device to play games. That still requires me to use my computer, and I don't want to spend like a monthly subscription, any more monthly subscriptions to play games like PC games on a tablet because I could stream it over the internet. That's kind of a waste. May think about doing it just to like showcase it because I think it'd be cool. But that still requires money. That still requires you to spend money, and I don't want to do that. But those are like my few little quirks that I've had for this week. Still got a couple more days to go. I started on Monday and I'm planning to go all the way to Sunday with it. I think that time I'll hopefully have enough content, and then I'll have a fun couple days editing all that video. And I can't wait because I use my phone to record stuff. It's amazing. The past few phones that I've had, I've always had issues with video not looking good, or my phone freezing, or my phone just being a derp ass. But with the Note 20 Ultra, this phone is quite amazing for me to just record 4K video with ease. Like, I don't need to have a separate camera. I don't need to have anything like that. It doesn't look so bad. It actually looks better, if not just as like maybe even as good as a regular camera. Not as good as a DSLR. I kind of still want to record on that too. But that's not Samsung, girl. But no, I'm liking my phone. It's been nice to be using my tablet kind of more often because it's been mostly a streaming device. It's still kind of just a streaming device, or just like watching YouTube or movies or video or episodes and like that. But I'm starting to use it more to like go on websites, checking my email, just doing my kind of usual things as an unemployed person. Even finding jobs is actually been pretty interesting, and maybe over the weekend I might record that part if I remember. And when this video comes out Tuesday on YouTube, it's gonna be interesting if I've ever done any of that. This stream, at least. Actually, now I think about it, if I plan to end Sunday, I have a good feeling I'm not gonna upload that till next week. So I might use this video as a reminder to, hey, if you haven't done it, record more B-roll if you need to. And though I think by the time it's gonna be over, so, and then I would be editing by then. But yeah, was something that I've been trying to do. I kind of want to do more videos as well. I may start another vlog series, but in terms of like using technology and like that. Um, and oddly enough, as of late, I kind of want to keep going more into technology. Um, and oddly enough, like in terms of like the IT network field, because I've been kind of interested in running a server at home, even though for the fact California has very expensive electricity and has to also requires money. But if I could build it on a budget, an attempt to see what I could do, even as simple as just building a file server to put all the videos that I've recorded and such, even that would be great. Um, you know, I really like tech. Don't get me wrong. I really like tech. I've just been really diving upon it and see if I could. I really do want to make videos on it. Um, so if anyone has ideas, feel free to comment below, or if you're here live in chat, feel free to to type it out so then we can talk about it, because I want more ideas. I have some, but if you guys have any other outwardly ideas that doesn't require a lot of money, if not any money to do, it'd be great. Hell, maybe I could even do a 5 to 10 minute video on this ring light because it's amazing. Sure, I spent money on it, but it helps with the video quality. Like, hello, look at this. I might even put that in the vlog tomorrow, actually, think about it. But yeah, I want to keep messing with technology, maybe at least for the next couple of months. Who knows? It may be pertinent, it may be helpful to the career I'm maybe going for. Could be in IT. It'd also be cool to get back into software engineering, but that's going well, right? But yeah, I love for technology. It'll be interesting because it's like, at least getting to technology was a lot easier. I mean, I remember still as a child, I've tried to get into like civil engineering, which is like building buildings, highways, roads, and all that stuff. And Dragon actually gave me a good like topic point, if because she was not gonna come in today. Sorry, Dragon, but hi, Dragon. Hopefully you're hearing this part in the whole series podcast. You talked about like what I wanted to do if I didn't get into computer science. The primary one, well, one of them actually, the one of the things I wanted to do before I really got into computers and computer science was to be a civil engineer, building buildings. Not really building buildings actually, because that's more closer to architecture, but building roads, building highways, building a sort of network and such. Just building infrastructure and just like figuring out how to build new infrastructure that can benefit a city. Because, hi, I'm a city boy. I was born in New York City. I loved all the infrastructure there. It was all old, a bit grungy and dirty, but it awed me as a child, like seeing like how the tallest like seeing how like all this actually a time stretch. The skyscrapers are, how many of them are in like a line, how big buildings are, how they even build like trains and subways. And actually, that's another thing. I'm definitely a train fanatic. And I guess I should put this as an aside. I'm definitely a train fanatic ever since I was a child, because again, New York City, the whole subway system is like a big playground, really. Playground where you don't need the playground. You could just, apparently as a child, I remember mom told me is that she would just we go into a subway system one day and just ride trains, because that's me. We just go everywhere and everywhere. Yeah, we would just go everywhere and everywhere on the systems, uptown, downtown, east, west, wherever. And oddly enough, I would still remember how to get from one place to another. If you asked me today of how to get from one place in New York City to another, I could probably answer it, unless if it's the Bronx or uptown Manhattan. That's where I get gray. But because of myself liking trains a lot, I low key did want to become a train operator or conductor, at least in the New York City subway. Um, and there's a difference between the two. The train operator operates the train, like actually drives the train. The conductor makes the announcements. Um, if for those who doesn't know the difference between the two, um, there was a time I wanted to do that, but then I realized how gritty it could be to do that, and then you deal with passengers. I wasn't ready to deal with the public at the time, especially when I was a child, and even like when I was teen and early adult, I still low key wanted to be a train operator. Um, if I wanted to be a would I want to be a train operator now? Sure, why not? I think I've gotten used to talking to the public pretty easily, talking to anyone in the public. I don't know if I'm ready to talk to irate people, but I'll try my best to mitigate it, or at least lessen the tension. But it'd be cool. I actually would want to do it one day, later down the line. There was also a time, even like actually as a reason, I want to be like a bus driver or truck driver because it'd be cool, just driving places, whether with passengers or with cargo to places because I like traveling. But primarily, going out of all those tangents, I've always wanted to be, again, before computers, to be a civil engineer because I was fascinated. I was also not only I was fascinated by like big transportation, big things like big machinery in some ways, really, but also our infrastructure, highways, neighborhoods, and all that stuff. Hell, I think at that point I could have probably went into city planning rather than a civil engineer. But I think they're both hand in hand. I think. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a civil engineer or a city planner, um, but ever since like being in like living in New York City for like 8 years, heck, living in Tampa, Florida for 2.5, and here living in Northern California for almost more than 10, um, almost 15. Holy shit, it's been a lot. It's been a lot actually. Actually, more than 15. 2020 was my 15th year being here. Um, but yeah, I've always been interested on just like building things. I guess that's why I could never stop playing City Skylines, and I always loved just simulating a city. Hence why, if anyone follows me on Steam, you would notice that I have about 700 or so, if not more hours than that, in City Skylines. Only because I'll just love putting a road, building buildings, put a bus stop, put a tram stop, put a park, put a police station or anything like that. I'll just start building neighborhoods. Neighborhoods becomes towns. Towns become city, and then everything goes to shit in the mess. I love it. I remember getting when I got that game on Humble Bundle, I think, back in 2019. I said, "No, I'm not gonna play it. That's a lot of micromanagement," and I ended up playing it, and then I kept playing it, and I kept really playing it. I kind of wish City Skylines came out a time I was about to graduate to tell me, to give me an idea if I was going to get into city planning or even civil engineering or not. Um, yeah. Actually, I think SimCities was the thing, but I never had a computer that was strong enough to do it. Granted, I remember, and this is how I actually changed how I swiftly changed from civil engineer to computer science. Um, the reason why I actually did switch from civil engineer to computer science. Probably should have worded it that way. Um, because of this thing, and actually, it was a pretty like a turning point for me. It was senior year in high school. They still had, at least at my high school, we still had the senior project, which is. Sorry, car. I'm going through. I signal. You kept speeding up. We had a senior project where, in the name implies, as a senior, you had a project to do, and it was like, and basically it was almost a yearly project that determined your graduation, basically. At least at that point, they didn't really make it a full graduation requirement, but they made it as an English requirement to do your senior project. And so what I decided to do, as my last ditch effort to see actually, let me preface this a little bit back. I remember I was having a hard time figuring out what major I want to go into back junior year because I was already getting more into computers and all that stuff, getting into technology. Um, I've been starting to mess with my own laptop during that time, just trying to see if I can get like do a couple things. I would kind of wish I did more, but I wasn't that adventurous back then. I'm not as adventurous as now, but but I was on the fence between two majors, which was as a civil engineer or doing civil engineering or computer science because I was getting interested into computers, but I didn't want to do the hardware aspect, like building the hardware, like actual electronics. Um, like in terms of like software or like support or just like doing those things versus what I was thinking I was going to do, civil engineering for like buildings and such like that. And I remember having a hard time um, really figuring out what major I want to put in when I was trying to apply for colleges and see if I was going to get scholarship through them as I went there. Um, and that um, thought really stayed on with me for all the way till senior year and kind of past senior year. However, what I did to kind of make my decision as to what I want to do really was this senior project. And a lot of people kind of dread the senior project. I would say the senior project might have saved my butt in some sense, unless if I really love civil engineering. I don't know. I wish I visited the alternate universe where I went into civil engineering. Um, the senior project really helped me out to view if I was really gonna focus on civil engineering, because again, I was into technology during high school, a lot more into technology, like especially in like the later years and as a junior and as a senior. But also, I still had the passion to even do architecture or like kind of architecture, but eventually develop into civil engineering because I was in an engineering class back in high school where we went from a little bit of like drafting first in as a freshman to robotics mechanical and even 1 year of architecture. Uh, and I think at that point that's where I started learning like, ooh, you can actually build this using the software. Granted, it was a pretty professional software. It was Autodesk Revit. Revit? I think it was Revit. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, it's not AutoCAD. We learned that before in Inventor. But I think it was Revit, which is the architecture software. And I remember building a lot of architectural things. I even have a inside joke where an assignment where we had to build a shed, except I accidentally built my shed as in like a little kids room, like a little kids playhouse with a shower and a window, and my friends never let that thing go. Me building a kids playhouse with a shower and a back window. You can go talk to AJ and a couple other people about that, especially AJ during Monday when I do my Minecraft Mondays. But no, like I started like ever since using Revit back in like junior year of high school, I started really questioning if I really wanted to do this. Because while it was fun, it was obviously very technical, and at that point I was kind of irritated on using a lot of like using the true like technical measurements and all that stuff. Because it's a software, but it's like, at least that's was again was in high school. Maybe nowadays I could probably get into it a lot more, say, because I got into video editing, so I guess I could do that too. Two different things, but like in the idea of like really trying to like really pinpoint, really like being perfect about it and all that stuff. So that's what. So when I came to senior year, when I had to choose of what to do for my senior project, I decided to make that year my last ditch effort to see if I can get into civil engineering, where I spent the research on. I don't know what I did. I think I did my research paper on architecture because the final project itself, like the because you half thesis, half third thesis, whatever, third thesis, third product, third presentation, whatever. But that's how it goes. If I think for at least most universities, you had to do a senior project. So if you kind of know, the research, the thesis, the product, and the presentation, you'll know. Even though I think some of them limit it, but anyways, I'm going off on tangents. But I remember I think I did my thesis on architecture, like the history of architecture and like how it's beneficial to, like, even actually no, I think I did more of mine in like green building, like being environmental friendly with the buildings they're building nowadays, being eco-friendly, being like meeting the certifications to do that. And then the actual project was to design in Revit eco-friendly building that will minimize and mitigate like certain sides of waste or energy usage or anything like that. And I remember just having a fun time just researching over and over again to see what it requires. It's like, oh, if I decided to use like this sort of electrical, would it be enough to achieve accreditation for being green? Or will this require more or less? Blah 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 blah. And then present this whole thing, as a whole package. And I remember just spending, I think it was like a whole quarter and a half, just trying to design this building on Revit. Having fun time rendering it over and over again, just watching your computer crash over and over again when you render stuff. And it was a pain, but don't get me wrong, I think I had a fun time doing that during my senior year of high school. Yet it was a pain because it was my senior year of high school. I was also doing a couple other things. Hell, I was faux editor-in-chief for the yearbook that year, so I actually accidentally did something big that year as my final year, which again, I don't regret that either. I've had a fun time doing that as well. But just doing that for like the whole year, like the whole process for the whole year, and see if I really got into it, all the way to the presentation. I think that's where I decided to make my choice. Actually, not close to my presentation, because my presentation was in April and I graduated in May. But I made my choice, I think, when I was mid-project, when I was doing the design of the building and such. I'm having a fun time driving here. That I don't think I could do it. Also, thank you, Blaze, for the host. I think I'm reading that right. Yes, I am. You're gonna have an interesting time seeing me drive shittily as I explain my transition from almost being a civil engineer to doing a computer science degree. Driving shittily, obviously. It's been hard because I've been trying to explain stories and I'm just like, I'm right over here or I'm all the way over here almost hitting the thing, and it's been bad. Do I need to remind you of one clip? Which one? There's so many good crashing clips. Where was it? It was during when I was doing the product side of my high school senior project, to where I really thought of, I don't know if this is really for me. I don't know if I could really get into civil engineering and rail. Oh, was that the one where I really hit the rails? That one specifically? Yeah. I mean, it's American Truck Simulator. At least it's kind of open. A little bit more open. Okay, I gotta be stopping being stupid. But no, yeah, senior high school, during doing that project, it really enlightened me that I don't know if I could get into civil engineering, per se. It was fun. I thought it would be fun, and I might have. I wish I could go to an alternate universe where I actually did civil engineering and see how far I went with that thing, because I felt like I didn't really go far with computer science either. The other passengers crashed. Yeah, I already crashed twice, just very half-heartedly. Let me just stay on the right lane and try to focus on driving. Um, but that was that turning point. I decided last minute I'm going into computer science, and then I realized that none of the universities that I applied back in junior year and kind of senior year had the correct major, because I had civil engineering rather than computer science. So, oops. Granted, there was not much universities I really wanted to go to, because most of them were private and hella expensive, upwards to like $40,000 a year. So I would have been definitely in debt by the time of graduation, because my parents did not save money for that. So then what I ended up doing was going to community college and save about half the cost, and then I only have to pay for 2 years of university. And then that's where I really got into computer science. That's when I went through my first coding class and all that stuff, and I noticed I really, really liked it. At least kind of up to the end. I know I got frustrated on a couple of certain kinds of code and languages. Maybe because it was the professor that doesn't know how to teach it correctly. But I feel like, at least in this universe, I was okay to focus on computer science compared to civil engineering. But again, I kind of want to know, like, if I really didn't get into technology and got into civil engineering more, to wonder how far I would have gotten with that degree comparatively. Someone should make an alternative universe machine, so we could just figure out our alternate universes. Universes, whatever it is, whatever the plural of universe is. Granted, I think universe is grander than singular. It's very words. I have a good feeling when Dragons watches, she's gonna face palm very hard and message me and says, "Good English, very good English." Aww. But yeah, I wonder what other things I could have gotten into though. I know everything was science based, because computer science, technology, civil engineering, kind of soft science. I would still have to learn physics though, and I remember still struggling with physics, because I can never get physics to like me anyways. Either that or I'm just really bad at calculations. But I like math. And now I'm rambling. Yeah. That would have been a wonder. I wonder maybe if later in life I would try to get into civil engineering again. Again, I got into City Skylines, but I'm pretty sure that's a whole different thing. City Skylines is more of urban planning or city planning, which I also kind of want to get into, but I don't know what the requirements is to get into like urban planning and whatnot. Oh shit. Okay, I am driving stupid. Alright. Alright. Let me at least try and drive. I guess I could probably pass this question. If whatever you got into now, or like, okay, no, I'm rephrasing that question very stupidly. It's like, I guess the question that Dragon asked is more of like, if you didn't get into what you were doing now, what would you have done originally? No, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would just say the thing. I don't know. I can English, but I'm like honestly curious if there was other things that you wanted to do aside from what you did now. There we go. words. But now I'm curious. It's like if you didn't get into what you did now as a career or as a hobby or anything like that, what would you strive for, or what would you attempt? What would you originally wanted to do? And if what you're doing now was your original idea, what was your like alternate one? Like, if I ended up not doing this, what did you want to do instead? I guess now that's still stated the same way. English is hard. Let me tell you that English was hard. I remember back in high school I had to struggle with English. Though, to be fair, even if my English is shit, my English was was shittier back in high school. It's particularly bad in high school. I think I remember dragging a couple of my like high school essays, and they were pretty bad. And when I read them, they were pretty bad. I did not like how I wrote. Granted, I say that and then you hear me speak and it doesn't sound great as well. But I promise you, I can't speak English well for whatever reason. But if I put my heart into it, I could type a good essay. I could type a pretty decent essay nowadays. But the only reason for that is, I can at least think of what I'm planning to write. Back in high school, I think I just put like my speech patterns on a sheet of paper and just went with it. And never thought of like putting much effort into my essays. It's probably the reason why most of my essays were shit. But as I went through like college and university, I think it actually honed down my skills in writing papers and whatnot. Which, whoever says that university you don't learn anything, no, I'm pretty sure I learned the most in university compared to high school or middle school. I'm sorry. I mean, sure, high school, middle school let you learn the fundamentals of things, the fundamentals of math, the fundamentals of English, blah 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 blah. But where you really hone down your skills is definitely in university. But hey, if you hone down your skills back in high school, good for you. I'm hoping those skills have been quite successful for you guys in life. I really hope. I really do hope. But I know for me, it took me until college to really get into what I wanted to get into, as well as to get into to like really hone down my skill. Not so much for speaking per se. Well, kind of, but I'm very tangent spoken. I always go off tangent, and then that's where my speech goes completely different direction, and then suddenly I have lost everyone. It's okay if I've lost you. That's fine. This is the point of this is the reason why I'm streaming, more or less. It's just for me to just talk about stuff, talk about what I like. Do I need to get gas again? Oh shit! I need to get gas again. Let's go. Oh, so close. Ooh, got it. I'm still wondering how I managed to get into trucking simulators. I think again, it was one of SES's software, but I don't know how I got into it. The early days of internet was a thing. All I know is that, but I don't know how I got into like, oh, I wanted to drive per se. And it's funny because I never got my actual license till I was like 24. But I've always drove trucks and truck simulators without issue. I wasn't like the asshole that likes to crash into a lot of things, even though last week's stream and Blaze's clip explains otherwise. Just, I don't know. Again, granted, I love traveling, so I miss traveling. I always go back to that topic because like whenever we play trucks, American Truck Simulator, heck, even European Truck Simulator, which I probably should get into. Maybe February. I'm gonna download that game and download some maps, um, like the extra downloadable content, so I can at least drive my truck in Europe. Um, where was I going with this? I just like to talk about travel as well. I still need to finish Dragon's podcast. For those who um, haven't heard it or watched it, I suggest you should. It's on Mythical Dragons channel on YouTube. I know she talked about her second part of second part of her travel experiences. Second part of her travel experiences, which is traveling around Europe because she lived in England for 2 years. I could probably go faster. So I need to finish that and try to relive and miss all the traveling I've done, all the traveling and such. I'm not going to be reliving her travel experiences, but that's hers, her travel experiences. But it's like, no way. Just miss travel in general. Let me see. I know she sent me other topics. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I remember there was something about the world. Where's one thing you think you could do better to better the world? And what does the world need? What does the world need to do to be better? I have one big thing, and I'm just gonna keep it short for reasons that it can go very political. I promise you that. If the world needed to be better, and I wish the world had the most, was at least the human beings that here lives in this world, I wish more people had common sense. Learn before you speak. Figure that your actions may have consequences. All that fun stuff. Using your brain, using your common sense, the world would be kind of better. It won't be perfect. Don't get me wrong. There's no such thing as a perfect world. If it was, it'd be pretty communistic. But we would live in a more sensible world if people put common sense to it. That's all I'm gonna say. Woo! I mean, I'm also like, I say that, but there's also a time and a place for stupidity as well. Like, it'd be fun to just do kind of, no lie, I would like to do kind of reckless stupidity. But obviously, I would want to do it in a nature where no one gets harmed. Hey, awesome, and I'm speeding. But I would like to like, it'd be cool to vandalize something. It'd be cool to, quote unquote, break the law. But in terms of where it only harms myself or the people that wants to do it and does not harm anybody else, if that makes sense. Like it's just like wreckful stupidity. Just doing those, just like it's stupid. It's stupid to a lot of people's eyes. It may be outside of common sense, but hey, it was fun. Again, I would only do it if there were other people that are doing the same thing, that are wanting to do the same thing, and it won't hurt anybody except for the people that are doing it. I'm oddly enough okay of like inflicting self pain, aside from like trying too hard. There's a difference, but just like being very stupid about it, right? That's like, oh, doing this might have like wasted a couple days of my life. Awesome. But did I have fun? Awesome. If I did, yes, everything is fine. No time was technically wasted, even though in many other people's eyes it is. Those kinds of things. But again, there's always a time and place for it. Most of the time, you just gotta make that time and figure out if it's going to harm more than just you and the people that wants to do it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people wanted to do careless, wreckful things. I mean, there's at one point, granted, I'd say that, but I think the most common wreckful stupidity that anyone has done so far is probably stolen a thing. And not saying like stolen from a store, like stolen anything anywhere. Probably stole a pen from your friend, a pencil from your coworker, the charging cable from your other coworker. I've heard those things. A stapler at work. Again, it's like the most like random things, and like at the end you may want to laugh about it. I mean, I do. Like, no, like there were like a lot of things back at the office that we just end up forgetting to donate. Actually, not really a lot. There was like a couple things that were in our office when I ended as a IT manager that left in office. Nothing technology, because those were actually I wouldn't be stupid enough to steal those. Like tapes, pens, like that. I took one. I even took a clipboard because it's like, you know what? I don't have a clipboard at home. Can I take a clipboard? Because who knows when you're gonna need a clipboard? There may be one time you'll have to use it. There'll be zero times you have to use it. But hey, you have a clipboard, and I have a good feeling that might get thrown away in the next year or two. But you have a clipboard, and plus, well, at least for like a clipboard and like a couple other things, they're like memories to me. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you've come from a different job, like if you've come from like doing multiple jobs and you've kept this one specific thing, whether it would be a gift from a friend, I mean, sure, there will be those. But also even like the pen that is in your cup of pens or pencils, or what other things are there? There's a turn here. Or like I say a clipboard. For me, was a clipboard. Those even like those random things kind of have memory to them because it's like, oh, I remember using this clipboard for this certain event or these certain types of like these certain types of events to where I did the most work, to where I was pretty courageous on doing these things, to where I almost cried or something like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were like a couple things where I used that clipboard to really hone down on everything before I break down. That's why I like I brought it home. I keep looking that way because that's where I had to put the clipboard. Um, there was like a stapler, even a tape gun. Granted, I bought the tape gun myself, but I ended up bringing the tape gun back with some tape from them because it's like I use a lot of my own tape. I'm gonna take some tape back. You know, equivalent exchange. In some ways. But they're like some things are just very sentimental with it because it 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 more or less told the story, even if it's just a basic thing. Sure, I stole it from work, but I remember the memories from it. And were like a lot of fun memories, tough memories, and everything. And something like that, I feel like it's kind of stupid that I did it, right? It's kind of stupid that I stole a clipboard, but I don't think I hurt anyone for a clipboard. I don't think, and everyone was fine for me taking the clipboard because of all that. So there's like some things that, there's some things that are just justifiable to do that. I don't know how I managed to get into reckless stupidity and stealing things to be a common reckless stupidity, but I mean it's true. Like, I mean, comment below if you have stolen something from anywhere. Oop, that's my exit. If you have stolen something from, say, your work or your friend that you still have to this day, and what's the reason why you still have that item today? Was it because you may have forgotten to return it to them? Or, well, most of the time it is, but most of the time it is, but other times it's just like it was something that I remembered before they moved away or something happened to them or something like that. That I remember taking, I never gave it back. Do I regret it? Like on all those things. I don't know. That's where my mind went. That's highway patrol. I can't pass stupid right now. With highway patrol on the front. Plus, I don't know if they want to know that I stole a clipboard from work. Granted, there were like other things I wanted to steal, but no. Common sense, guys. Have common sense. There's some things you can steal. There's other things you just cannot. What other stupid, like reckless stupidity there is? Oh yeah, another one, vandalism. I probably shouldn't talk about that. That's like talking something like vandalism or kind of crime, like being reckless to the community. That's a whole different story. I think stealing is like the most like common thing, most common thing at least out there, right? I hope I'm right. Oh, I need to speed up. Come on, Popo, go, 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 go. I'm gonna speed up no matter what. It's funny because this section has already become full freeway status in real life, but SCS has yet to update the 58. Come on, SCS, update the 58. Oh, I'm going 60 miles an hour. I'm speeding. Hell, I guess speeding is also reckless stupidity. But, you know, only do it when it's safe. I mean, you could be at the speed limit, but if you know there's no one, if you're on a if you're on a 4-lane highway, 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other, there's no car a mile behind, a mile ahead, and they're already going faster than you, just meet their speed, even if it's overspeeding. But if it's 110 miles an hour, it's a different story. Common sense. Still gotta focus on the common sense. Ooh. I guess this is like really the only other thing I need to do with actual driving. To be fair, I've never driven on a freeway in real life. I've only driven on city roads, country roads, 2-lane highways, but never on a freeway. Because I have very little experience on merging, which is always going to be the bane. I'm pretty sure I can match speed and kind of brake in time, but I would need more experience in that. I mean, I feel like I have experience driving an American Truck Simulator. However, there'd be times I just swerve and crash. So, yeah. Oops. Hi, Popo. Don't mind me. I'm going like 60 miles an hour. It's 5 over. You can't take it with me on 5 over. Whoa! Shit. That was scary. I forgot that was a thing down this highway. Tumbleweeds. Completely forgot about the tumbleweeds. That scared the crap out of me. Which was kind of stupid as well, but it really did scare the crap out of me. Man, kind of do miss being on this part of the highway though. To be fair, I think it's been like year or two since I've driven on this part, because I've always driven on the north side since Nevada was built out a little bit better. Granted, I have never driven back down to SoCal in like a while in this game. I think literally 2 years ago, that's when I really focused on it. I also need to move my pedals because my brake pedal is way too close to where this wheel is sat at on a dinner table. There we go. Woo! Now keep going. Let's see. By the way, what are you guys planning for 2021? I know many of us are waiting for the vaccine at least make COVID a little bit more bearable. I wouldn't say it would make us better, but it would make it more bearable for us to live normally-ish. But with that, what are you guys planning to do in 2021? Even like in general, actually. And I'm pretty sure we've kind of talked about it before with Dragon, especially during the breaks. Especially during during the New Year's Eve special, and maybe even last week actually. But any plans in general, like any big plans for 2021, any ambitious plans, you can include if you get after the vaccine or whatnot, because who knows when not all of us are going to get that vaccine, right? Um, but after getting the vaccine, and hopefully there'll be some sort of immunity with it, some sort, at least make it bearable, like the flu. Um, I'm going. Cheated that one. Um, what are you guys planning to do for 2021? Because I know for the fact I'm still planning to find a job, but I'm hoping if I don't, I know my dad really wants to travel, especially road traveling, like doing this American Truck Simulator, but in real life. Duh, because there's a thing. This is I'm being stupid about that part, but no, just traveling again. I know my dad wants to like go a couple states around. They're just going back around the United States again. Have my brother in tow this time around, and eventually like just drive. Well, at least planning to do like drive north side, going up 80 towards Nevada, Reno, Salt Lake City. Probably go as far north as Montana to see like the bisons and a couple of the monuments up there again. Up there, probably Mount Rushmore the second time, and then possibly go down. Ooh, I cut that corner way too soon. Possibly go down towards Denver and around that area. Go through that Midwest, and then to Texas, and then stay there until I find a job, basically. Because I'm really the only one that's going to be working. My mom's retired. My dad doesn't work, and we just want to move on with our lives, really. I don't think my mom is ever planning to go back to work. I think I remember yesterday when my mom one of my mom's coworkers told her or suggested her to keep her nursing license, just in case if for one reason or another she finds a position that she can do once or twice a week or something like that. Even if she's retired, she can at least do that, because technically, even if you're retired, you can technically work, but you can only work a certain amount of hours before they cut your benefits, because then you'll be working more than what your benefits can provide, and then it'd be like, oh, you're earning an income, blah 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 blah, tax, social security sort of things. But no, yeah, one of my mom's friends suggested like have her keep her license. So I wonder if she'll do that, just so even if she finds a job, say in Texas, for like 2 days a week, if she wanted to do it, she can. Or she wanted, if just for like extra income, if she doesn't want to dive into her retirement funds and whatnot, she can do that. But for me, it's just like I'm really the only one else that is not working at the moment. My brother still works. He still works in Texas at a hospital. Who has got his COVID vaccine? Woohoo! He hasn't only got his first shot. He hasn't got a second shot yet, though. But who knows? I mean, there's even plans to move there in 20, either this year or next year, or in the next couple years. Who knows? But we are planning to move out of California because, actually, I should probably talk about this. Of moving out of California and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, at least for my mom, she wants to move out of California. I'm pretty sure my dad would want to too. I kind of do want to as well. As much as I love California for its weather, its environment, its people, minus a couple people, but minus a couple groups, I would say. While California has been a decent state to live in, why does it really benefit for people who has a somewhat okay retirement? I feel like if you want to live in California when you're retired, you better be having a lot of money in tow. And I don't think it was my parents' idea to stay in California long term, per se. I remember hearing about this, or at least speculating it back in my college years, of where that's not my exit yet. Of where this wasn't a place for my parents to retire. Originally, it would have been the Philippines, but because of even how shitty it is in terms of like um, medic, getting medical coverage and all that stuff, it's better than the Philippines. That's no lie. It's still a lot cheaper, and especially with all my mom's work experience behind her, benefiting that and to give her decent social security and everything, she's pretty much set, which means my dad is pretty much set. So pretty sure we're gonna stay in the United States. However, California is very expensive. I'll say that. Maybe not in terms of like property tax, because property tax I think one of the lowest. California is one of the lowest in the state. But in terms of everything else being taxed for anything else, California is pretty up there. So there was an idea of just moving to Texas because there's no state tax on a couple things. So effectively, it'd be cheaper to live in Texas. And since my brother's in Texas, there's all the more reasons to kind of move to Texas. I also realized I'm driving to Sacramento than Fresno. Okay, that makes a lot more sense why this drive is long. Actually, let me cruise control at that speed. Still too fast. There we go. But that's the idea of trying to move to Texas because I'm pretty sure it's a lot cheaper. And the two other places where we used to live, New York, is still very expensive because we lived in the city. We never lived in the state, and we would only be accustomed to living in the city. And plus, it's cold and snow. I don't think my parents want to deal with it. Florida, it'd be a matter of me finding a job there, and I don't know if I'm ready to go back to Florida. Texas, there's a possibility. I want to still broaden my experiences of the states I lived in. So New York, at least New York City, was hustle bustle and snow. Florida, tropical weather, sweaty, calm. California, pretty wild and adventurous with its qualms and dry heat. Yeah, Central Valley heat. But I feel like Texas would be a fun state to live in. That could be almost like, I don't know if it would be almost like California because I know it's mostly a conservative state. But depending on where you go, because there's to be a lot of ex-Californians, it can be just as progressive compared to its overall conservativeness. That could also be said for California because there are those places where there's conservatives and progressives in two different underlying areas, but still within the same state. But I won't go any further than that. But I also feel like Texas is like, aside from like a couple places, again, it's like California and many other states, and many other places you live in, except for a couple other places, there will be a good spot to live in. And where my brother is, when we went there almost 7 years ago. Holy crap, it's been that long. Just being there for like a week, it felt nice. I'm pretty sure we got a little bit of dirty looks because color and all that fun stuff because it was a predominantly white, Caucasian white city, but they weren't mean, they weren't anything. There was hospitality. They were all, all close knit, which makes sense. So that's why the dirty looks of like, oh, there's someone we don't recognize. But they're all nice. They're all caring, all that stuff. I remember being there for the 4th of July weekend, and it was not hectic. It was pretty fun. But it was just being fun. Just being there overall was fun. Humid as fuck, but fun. So it'd be cool to maybe move over there. I think we were in, at least for me and my mom, we were in talks about that. Who knows? We could probably move there once we get this house all fixed up, sell it. We could probably start living over there in Texas. think of any other states in mind. Mm, Washington possibly, because no life Oregon. I mean, how as much as how Oregon is cool and whatnot, not my type, not my type of cool. It's weird, hipster, and nerdy, but not my type. Washington, I feel like it could be calmer than California, ish, but I don't know if there what stereotypes I'm gonna be expecting if I lived in Washington. Um, I would like to go back to New York. Actually, if I can, this year, if I don't find a job, and after I guess the whole trip and getting the vaccine, when COVID has become like a little bit calmer, I want to get the vaccine and then do the trip with my parents. I do want to go to New York, especially New York City for a week, and then visit my hometown because I do miss it there. And I remember, oddly enough, earlier this week I went down the nostalgia route and started exploring. That's a gargoyle. And I started exploring all of where I used to live in New York and whatnot. And I've been thinking about it. If once travel is gone, once travel eases up, where we can travel without too much of an issue, without like quarantining or anything like that, what I want to do in New York City, especially when I visit my hometown, my home neighborhood in New York City, I do want to start a sort of a mini documentary series of like certain places that I've been to, certain places that I recall, and all that stuff. And then potentially, if I could try, get people around that area, interview them, and talk to them to see how much has changed when they first lived in New York, however many years ago. If they moved to New York in like 2010, how was it? If they even moved like a couple months ago, how was it? But I would also want to figure out, like, I also want to find those people who lived in New York ever since 1994. That's when I was born. For those, I'm hoping there will be people that will still be alive, like, that still live there for that long. And just do interviews and say, how much has this place changed during this time? Maybe not so much 1994, maybe 2003. That's when I actually moved out of New York. I would want to ask them, how much has this part of the city, or the whole city in general, has changed ever since 2003 or 1994, or however long they've been there. I think it would be cool. I also need to slow down. But I think it would be a cool little documentary series to not only like explore my neighborhood, the neighborhoods I lived in, neighborhoods I've been to, the places I've been to, and all that. But also see if I can actually talk to random people out there. For those who have stayed there for either longer than me or shorter than me, or during the time I was there, during the time I wasn't there, just knowing how life has been. I mean, we've been through a lot. You know, COVID, presidents, events, like like traumatical events and all that stuff. Um, and just get their opinions to see how much has it changed. And it'd be cool. It'd be a self documentary, but also like a mini documentary of like just recording life, but in the eyes of when I was born and when I moved out. Because obviously there'll be some people that will remember certain events in life. Um, to just recall those events, but it will also be fun to ask, do you recall any other events aside from that during that time? Do you remember doing these things? Do you remember when the mayor at the time did these things, or your community did this thing that made it big and amazing and popular, or it put it to the garbage, the trash? I would want to do that, like do a little documentary series of at least starting with New York, because I feel like New York has the most character in terms of the past 20 years or 25 years. Um, it'd be cool. I wish I knew a lot of people back in New York. Granted, I was only up to 9 years old when I was there, but hoping that with YouTube and all that stuff, maybe I'll start meeting more people on YouTube, even here on Twitch, and start meeting more people. And hopefully there'll be people that lived in New York City so I can talk to them. So if you know any people, or you're watching this vlog, or this podcast on YouTube, or watching it live right now, if you know anyone in New York City that's willing to talk about what they remembered when they lived there for 5, 10, 20, how many ever years, feel free to have them message me on Twitter, because I would like to talk to them. But I would like to have a chance to talk to them when I get there, because I feel like that'd be cool to just talk about any sort of memories that they can recall. I guess like the one driving reason I could think of doing that is because of 9/11. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have different views of 9/11. But I'm curious of like even the people that were there, if they had anyone there and all that stuff. So also, hey Izzy, what kind of announcement you got? I think I'm gonna end kind of soon, but I'm gonna grab one more short trip to do that. I told my mom I'm quitting school. Oh boy, that's quite ambitious, but also it's not a lot of other people have done that too. But what are you planning to do in terms of that then? Because obviously there has to be something, right? Izzy? I guess I'm pretty sure everyone can agree. Like, at least they didn't take it well and want me to sleep on it and be 100% sure. I see. I mean, in my views in terms of school, if you're trying to get a degree because they told you to, I wouldn't do it. I would only get a degree if you know you're certain that you want to do it. In terms of that, if you have already your high school diploma, I feel like that's even more than enough. Because university specifically, or college specifically, is not meant for everyone. There's not a lot of people that can really do university altogether. I mean, sure, maybe doing a couple classes like that to learn, I would say that'd be more than enough for a lot of people. But to do it for like a degree, unless if you really struggling and can't, like, if you're really struggling and can't do it, I would stop and I would just not do it until you feel ready, if ever. How am I gonna do this turn? What the fuck? I don't want to do that. That's too much. Damn, I drove cheese a whole long way through. Wow, I didn't wreck it. Woo! Mostly I've been lying to myself and convincing myself that I want to get a degree, but I wasted too much time and resources and I got nowhere besides up like 2 steps. Right. I mean, when in doubt, you don't... I guess there's also like... If you find the motivation to go back to school, then go back to school. You don't... It doesn't have to be a full quit. I mean, you could take a gap year, 2 gap years, 5 gap years, and then go back. Once you are ready to go back, feel free to go back, but you should never be forced to go back. You know, like, especially I'll do that when I'm financially stable, have less things to play. Yeah, exactly. Like, especially like during these times, it's like there are many other things to do right now. I guess not really many other things to do, but it's more of like there's a lot of people have a lot of things on their plate. right? So it's rather to just sort it out first, and then once you're ready to go back, you can go back. And not lying to myself, yeah, that makes sense, because again, if you're just not ready, you're not ready, and it's just gonna you're just gonna, as you say, you're just gonna waste a lot of time and resource for something that you may regret in the end in life, like, because you're just simply not ready. I even told him I was lying to myself and wasn't living up to the expectations. That's understandable. However, DoorDash is still off the table. Oh, well, did you have a fun time doing DoorDash though? I'm just curious. Like, I'm actually honestly curious, because if you did, if it wasn't for COVID, I think that would be a fun, definitely a fun gig to do. I did, because I usually had someone with me most of the time. Ah, I see. Right, I keep forgetting that you can technically have passengers for. I figured that was gonna happen. I forgot that you can actually have passengers on your dashing. Making around 202 days was really grand. Oh no, don't get me wrong. Making that kind of money, making $100 a day in the end, that's not bad at all. Again, if it wasn't for COVID, sure. Even with its precautions, but now it's more on the line of with my dad. Oh really? Like in doing DoorDash or going back to school? Or just or it's probably school, isn't it? The school thing, I see. I mean, I understand how parents like want to see like you being successful, and I mean there is a time and a place for that. Um, but I feel like at this time maybe not. But once you find your stride again, you'll you'll get back into it. I could see it. Like I don't see it being an issue of just taking a break for a year, for 2 years, for a couple years, and whatnot. Sure, it's gonna suck because it's like if I'm not making money during that time, yeah, but it's nice to just really just take off like take it off the plate, reorganize your life, and then come back again. Hopefully, if not, definitely stronger than ever. Surprisingly, they're still letting me have free reign in the house. Oh, I see. I mean, I guess there will be a limit at some point in time. Maybe not now, but definitely sometime down the line that where they're gonna be like, all right, you got to do something, right? But I'm pretty sure at that time you will find something to do. They did tell me to look at Code Academy, and my mom told me I could use Cricut to make vinyl stickers. Ooh, because I know you've been getting into art in some sense. So you can attempt to sell it or do something like that. The limit is when I turn 26, I believe. That's the That's the government limit. Because at that point, when you turn 26, and hi, I'm already there, and me, Kathleen and AJ and Tony are already there. When you turn 26, you are set as a full independent, meaning you gotta find your own insurance, you gotta find your job, you gotta do this and all that stuff. Sure, 18 is the superficial date when you become an adult, but it's 26 where shit will hit the fan hard, in some sense. But you have time. For you as in you have time. 4 years. That's more than enough time to figure out what you want to do and figure out the direction. So who, in all honesty, I shouldn't have been scared to say that I don't want to go to school when they asked me in high school. I mean, at 18, unless if you knew what you were gonna do, I could see why you would be scared to say that back in high school. Like in terms of like your own internal feelings. Because obviously at that point, I still find it that even 18, when you're an adult, um, I feel like you shouldn't be making a lot of rash decisions that time because you still wouldn't be making good decisions at that time. 21, 22, and it's a little bit, if it's like on the borderline, but you're getting close to like really being mature about it, and then trying to really think of what you want to do in life. And 24, I would say 24 to 26 is where it'd be like, well, shit, I guess I have to do it. So I can see where you're coming from, and I could see the thought process in some sense as to why you did this instead of that and whatnot. I'm gonna go to the repair shop over there. I think because overthinking, yeah, it's how it is. Granted, I say it's like, I was gonna say that you tend to overthink less when you get older. No, that's a lie. I still overthink, but you start to make more concrete ideas when you're older. Like older, not 18 years old, older. Much worse than it was. Than it was now. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to be more mentally stable now. That's understandable. Because, again, I feel like 18 to 20, 21, about when you actually become actual legal adult, um, you still end up thinking a lot of things. Try not to let many things get to me. Yeah, that's fine. That's understandable. That's definitely understandable. Again, for those out there, if you're within like 18 to 20 years old, like I'd say maybe like 16 to 21 years old, if you don't know what if you don't know what you want to do in life, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you need to do right now. You'll figure it out one day. You will definitely figure it out one day, and then you'll be able to make the right, honest, concrete decisions then. But at that time, 16 to 21, I'd say just have fun, do whatever you need to do, and keep it easy. And then once you get later, hopefully you'll be able to make concrete decisions, to start making more concrete decisions in order to just live the life you want to live. But at least at that time you already had your fun, right? So, well, yeah, I did not park that great. I can make it better. But with that, with all the rambling that I have done today, I think that is it for me with streaming. I hope you guys had a great time hearing me ramble throughout about an hour, 40 minutes of just pure random stuff. If you like it, I hope you do. If you like it, I hope you do. Do follow me on YouTube. There's more of that where it came from. I do have a whole Truck and Talk playlist on that. I can type. Ooh! Okay, I'm having a hard time typing on this little small keyboard. Do follow me on YouTube as my truck is spinning, where I upload videos. I usually upload this every Tuesday. This video is usually uploaded every Tuesday if I remember. Wow, I can type. Also follow me on Twitter. That's where I usually update on whenever I stream and whatever random shit posts that I do there as well and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is definitely it for Truck and Talk Thursday this week because it's been a Rambleathon and a half. Woohoo! Truck and Talk Thursdays and Tuesdays. That's too much, Izzy. That's way too much. But do follow me over there. I usually stream Mondays with King Coronas for Minecraft and Thursdays for Truck and Talk. I don't know when I'm planning to stream extra. I know I want to one day. I'll figure out the time to do that. Whether it be Genshin or any other game. So, follow me there. Hopefully I have videos up soon. I have a video up tomorrow for more. I think that's my last Jackbox fun times with friends. So I'll have that up, as well as many other videos and whatnot. Aside from that, I'm being rambly as fuck. I hope you guys have a great day, night, wherever the heck you are. I'll see you guys next time, whether it be Monday for Minecraft Mondays or Thursdays for Truck and Talk Thursdays. This is Spam Waits with a very rapid intro. See ya. Bye. Oh, wait, I can press end right here. Bye. Here, no, fuck it. I'm doing it. I'm pressing end in end stream.